We kind of alternate there. We're a billion-dollar ag machine. But our community is so poor. Our unemployment rate hovers well over 40%. We too, our potable water is in jeopardy because in coming online in the next few months are at least 19 ag wells along what's called the Mendota Pool Group. That's where our city wells are. 3 are city ag wells to provide water to our city, and FCI Mendota, Federal Correctional Institution Mendota, we have a contract. We must provide water to that institution and to our community. We're a very poor community. We were never dependent on food lines. We have food giveaways almost weekly. Like the lady earlier said in Spanish, that they're in line 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning waiting for a box of food of mostly canned goods. You know, people want flour, rice, and beans, you know, not canned foods that they're not used to eating that stuff. And it's strange to me that the people that work in the fields that harvest and plant and grow all these foods that feed so many areas are dependent on a box of food that comes from who knows where else. It's very intricate and very we could talk here, I guess, for days and weeks about how, you know, the water flows and where, but we need water. We need some water to flow down to Mendota and Fireball and San Joaquin and Three Rocks, Tranquility, all our region in western Fresno County. We're heading into even darker areas coming up this summer. I was optimistic. I thought we were going to have a good El Nino year, and it just didn't happen. And if you could possibly imagine the hardest working people that you could find anywhere, just people that they break their backs out in the fields, and they want to provide for their children. They want to pay rent, utilities, and buy a brand new pair of shoes for their kids or a gift at Christmas time, not have to rely on Toys for Tots, because that's what Mendota is, a Toys for Tots community. And we need help. We need consideration. We need a little bit of water this year. It's dry. You know, maybe next year it'll snow like hell, and we'll get more water, you know, and other decisions will be made that are going to help the whole state. But at this point, we need consideration, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your translation services. David Bitts, followed by Richard Valle.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. First, I'd like to thank the previous speaker for his kind words about the fishing community, and I'd like to say he didn't mention anything that I don't personally like to eat. So, my name's Dave Bitts. I'm a commercial salmon fisherman based in Eureka. I'm president of the Pacific Coast Federation of Fishermen's Associations. We represent salmon fishermen, commercial salmon fishermen from Santa Barbara to Eureka. I'm here because fishermen need fish and fish need water. And the Central Valley hosts the largest run of Chinook salmon south of the Columbia River. It is the bread and butter, the backbone of ocean salmon fisheries for both California and Oregon. We, commercial fishermen, catch salmon so you can eat them. Our fish is gaining a worldwide reputation as among the very best seafood available, even as the run is threatened by this drought. This drought is not your fault, it's not Obama's fault, it's not the ESA's fault, and we can't even blame Congress for this one. But it's just going to be a very tough year. I don't think prosperity is in the cards this year for any of us, but we're all in this together. Fishermen can survive a lean year, but the fish cannot survive a bone-dry year, 3 years in a row, and they're gone. And then we never have them again. So when there's not enough water for anyone, survival is the issue. And I hope that you will be able to find the wisdom and the courage to find a way to use the few drops we have so that we can all survive until better times.
Thank you very much. Mr. Valle, Supervisor Valle, I see from Kings County. Thank you for joining us. And followed by Manuel Cunha, Jr., President of the Nisei Farmers League.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members. Thank you for this time this morning. I'm happy that so many of the Valley's elected officials and some of the good folks from the San Joaquin Valley already had a chance to comment before you this morning, because as a county supervisor from Kings County and an elected official from the San Joaquin Valley, I'm basically here today just to represent that the words that you've already heard and still may heard could not be more true. Those folks, as you recognize, Madam Chair, got up early this morning to travel all the way up here because it's very important to make sure that their voices were heard today. And I know that the other elected officials in this room back home have a lot of work to do for their constituents back home as well, but there was not a matter more important today than to be before you here today. And I know that you do understand the trickle-down economic issues, and you understand that without water, farmers can't farm, and if farmers aren't farming, farm workers aren't working. Cotton's not planted, which means the cotton gins are not ginning. Those parts, there's no wear and tear on those parts. Therefore, there's no work for the folks in the ag repair shops. And then those people without paychecks, businesses are obviously impacted. We've seen the data on that, and I know that's not new, but it is important that we remind that situation again here this morning. And so on behalf of the people, Madam Chair, we're just here to stress that we cannot have a water policy that unfairly targets the San Joaquin Valley. We cannot have a water proposal that devastates the poorest regions in the state of California. The negative impacts of such water proposals are borne by those who can least afford it. And so as our voices are heard this morning, it's equally important that our voice is clear. And to be clear, the current water proposal is unreasonable, it's punitive, and discriminatory. And we're asking that you go back to the drawing table and you produce a product that is fair to those in the San Joaquin Valley as well. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Cunha, followed by Edward Spencer.
Madam Chairman, Felicia, and board members and staff. Manuel Cunha, President, Nisei Farmers League. This morning, many of us left from Delano, from Orange Cove, and from Avenal this morning. People got up at 3:30 and to deal with the fog and all the issues. But I want to thank all of the farm families, the non-farm families, the school children, the families that are a part of our community for taking the time today on their own to be here to let you know the crisis. And the crisis is huge. You need to change the decision. Mr. Howard, you need to change the decision of what you made a week ago and open these pumps so we can allow water to happen to Avenal. Avenal had to have some 19,000 acre feet or gallons, whatever it was, that they had to beg to get, and they did get it. We don't need that in our communities. The farm workers work very hard. The farm families work hard. Our communities are very much dependent upon agriculture, but also supporting entities. Everything from a grocery store to a parts house to a gas station. Those of you that have probably traveled Avenal or Kalinga or even Terabella. If you look at Orange Cove, you look at Orosi Cutler. 3 weeks ago, the Nisei Farmers League donated $30,000 to 6 cities for food with the Fresno County Food Bank because there is no water. There's jobs that are very little, working part-time. So we took $30,000 out of our budget to go help these communities because they are in trouble. The sad part about this is once we lose these workers, it's like some are going to Arizona, some are going to Nevada, some are going to Colorado. They're leaving. That makes our employment issue for agriculture even that much more difficult as we already are in a labor shortage. But these families have worked in ag 20, 30 years and don't have jobs. And if we don't have food, there ain't going to be a California at the end of the day, unless you believe that all your food needs to come in on containers. And right now, You know what the mess is at the port. It's called greed by the unions, pure greed. When you're making $141,000 to $220,000 a year, and our families in our communities average anywhere from $20,000 to maybe $35,000 a year, and are very frugal with their money, and are part of the communities of the 53 cities in the San Joaquin Valley. So I would ask for you not to wait to move more water by those pumps so these communities can be and have the normal things that happens in Sacramento, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. But again, Madam Chair, I want to thank you personally for allowing those people to travel this morning that left their homes at 3 o'clock in zero visibility of fog and finally got here in their buses. And we apologize for being late, but I'm glad that the bus drivers drove safely to be here with these people. But thank you for allowing them to be here and to testify. And I hope that today, I know this is not an action item, but I hope that, Mr. Howard, you will change your decision and make something happen to where we can keep these cities alive and whole. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know I'm already after where I said, but I want to keep going for a while and we'll adjust. Edward Spencer, followed by Samuel Escobar.
Thank you. I'm Edward Spencer. I'm a retired neurologist from Marin County. And I will ask a question. Where does all of the water on Earth come from? Where does the massive steam from volcanoes come from? The fumaroles, the springs that started flowing up in Napa County after the earthquake. It comes from the magma. It comes from primary water. And it approaches the surface through fissures, and we can easily go get it. Why are we fighting over water? Why do we have to decide between crabs, fish, golf courses, garlic, and people? When the solution is very simple. Go and check out primary water. The drilling down, you have to know where to drill. You go down to a fissure, and it will reach the primary water at that time. California City, in the middle of the Mojave Desert, 7 to 10 inches of rain per year, lives on primary water, 14,000 people. So the website to start in on this is primarywater.org, primarywater.org. And I've got diagrams here. And it's kind of amazing that we don't know about this, isn't it? That you probably have never heard of this before. But I've heard a lot of very sad stories today, but I've pulled back the curtain just a little bit on a fairly quick and pretty simple solution. So the question is this going to be followed up? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And will you leave copies of that with the clerk?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Escobar, please, followed by Gabriel Valladolid.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and board members. My name is Samuel Escobar. I'm the city manager of the great city of Orange Cove, southeast of Fresno County. We are also a primary ag community. Just want to echo some of the comments that have been made by my fellow Central Valley communities here of the dire need of having water. But I also want to bring it back to specifically to what our situation is in Orange Cove. Orange Cove is 100% reliant on CVP water. The city of Orange Cove does not have the luxury to pump water from the ground to provide water the needs for our community. You know, I've heard this a couple times here now, the competing needs, the survival. This is a human need for our community. We need to provide that water for just basic needs, shower, food, just so people can survive in our community. We survived last year by having the 900 acre feet of water that we received from the San Joaquin emergency water, the restoration project water that we received. And that's the only reason we survived. Our residents have and understand that there's a dire need for conservation. We've seen the same as what City of Avenal has, where we've conserved from 20 to 25% of our normal year of water. We just
And
recently,
that's off not a very expansive use.
no,
too, so.
and for us, our normal allocation, is between 1,800 to 2,000 acre feet annually is our demand. We're now at 1,600 and a half is what our demand is for this year. So our residents have complied and they're listening. And we're now again at a zero outside irrigation for our community. Our businesses are hurting. They keep asking us, how is it that we can help? When our employment is down, we're the same, 33% unemployment rate in Orange Cove. Our businesses, major businesses, packing facilities, now they're, normally high peak, they're working 60 to 70 hours a week. Now they're at 30 hours a week, where, they're just not, the sizing of fruit is not there because of lack of water. And, what's going to happen to us in the near future? So for us, we want to make sure that I have an answer to our community. Where is our water coming from this year if we're going to be getting 0% allocation? Are we going to tap into the ground as we did back in 2012-13 when we had a 4-month, where we asked our farmers to help us out, help this community, and having to treat high nitrate water, at a cost of $1.25 million. Our budget is $2 million annually for our city. So what I'm asking here is for the board and for staff to reconsider the allocation for communities like Orange Cove, Strathmore, Tarabella, that we get water running through the Central Valley Project because it's a need, it's a human need for our community. It's a basic need, and that's what our survival is in Orange Cove. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. The challenge we find here is that on one hand, we're implementing the water rights scheme, which has all of its seniority. On the other hand, we have the drinking water program, which is helping communities and bringing it together. Mr. Valladolid, followed by Rosa Hernandez.
Muy buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Mi nombre es Gabriel Valladolid. Vengo de la ciudad de San Joaquín y hoy vengo representando a mi familia, a mis 2 hijos. Yo les voy a platicar un poquito cómo es que llegué aquí, cómo es que me ha afectado el agua.
Hi, my name is Gabriel. I come from the city of San Joaquin, California, and I'm going to chat with you a little bit about my family and my young children.
Yo llegué a la ciudad de San Joaquín en 1990 y gracias a Dios me enseñé a trabajar en la tierra, pues lo que es en lo agrícola. Y yo llegué a la edad de 18 años y no sentí la necesidad de buscar algo más porque el film me ofrecía una buena vida, pues una vida bien.
I arrived in San Joaquin in 1980 at the age of 18, and thank God that I was able to learn the work in agriculture and to work with the dirt, and thank God for that. A good life, he says.
Me enseñé a plantar el tomate, me enseñé a cosechar el tomate y después a trabajar la tierra para sucesivamente volver a tener la tierra lista. Y así sucesivamente, pero en los últimos 2 años ha sido alarmante ver cómo el rancho en el que yo trabajo está despidiendo compañeros del trabajo, pues, ¿verdad?
Okay, I learned how to plant tomato, how to harvest tomato in a good working situation. But as of late, the ranch where I work is starting to lay workers off that he's been working with for years.
Y no los despide por malos empleados, los despide por falta de agua. Buenos compañeros de trabajo con los que he convivido varios años. Es una tristeza que salimos de vacaciones en diciembre y en enero ya no los vemos. Y el motivo es por falta de agua.
And the main reason for the business, the ranch laying people off is not for that they're bad workers. It's because of lack of water. And around Christmas time, the holiday season is when it's cold and there really isn't work anyway. And it's sad that coming back to work after January that some of his friends that he's been working with for years aren't there anymore. It's because of lack of water.
El rancho para el que yo trabajo tiene muchos acres y es bien triste ver cómo cada año me hubiera gustado venir más preparado, ¿verdad? Para que miraran, no sé, unas fotos, cómo cada año son menos los acres que se siembran por falta de agua. Se mira un terreno como apocalíptico, pero agrícola. el ver pedazos verdes donde estamos sembrando y ya ver pedazos de tierra árida como estéril, pero no está estéril, lo que falta es agua para poderla sembrar.
He would have liked to have come more prepared with perhaps some photos to share of how drastic it is when you look at a lots of acres of his ranch where it's maybe a one field green and then the rest is barren and dry, all due to, of course, the lack of water.
Y he estado pensando en irme a otro estado a trabajar, ¿verdad? Por ahí se me abrió la oportunidad de ir a Colorado, pero yo no sé hacer otra cosa más que trabajar la tierra. No pensé que alguna vez iba a necesitar prepararme para otra cosa. Jamás pensé que iba a tener que cambiar por falta de agua. Y como no sé hacer otra cosa más que trabajar la tierra, y en nombre de mis hijos, y en nombre de todos los compañeros que ya no están de mi compañía, que son padres de familia, les pido que nos escuchen y que por favor nos den esa agua que necesitamos.
He says that he never would have thought this late in life that he would have to be, they wasn't prepared, that he could have prepared himself to retrain himself for some other sort of work, maybe perhaps going to Colorado, and he says that it's just such a sad situation for himself, his family, and friends, that it's come to this, and he's asking for the board to please consider what you can do to help our situation here in San Joaquin.
Porque no quiero ser el siguiente en la lista de ahí de mi rancho. Yo quiero seguir trabajando y quiero seguir trabajando en lo que disfruto. Quiero seguir trabajando la tierra. Eso es todo.
He doesn't want to be the next person in his ranch to be laid off, and he wants to keep doing what he loves, and that's working in the ground. He truly loves it. Thank you.
Thank you again. Rosa Hernandez? Okay, I'll put that to the side for the moment. Mario Resendiz? Oh, no, there she is. Great. Just one sec. She's coming.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Mi nombre es Rosa Hernández. Soy de la ciudad de Farbol y venimos porque tenemos mucha necesidad de agua.
My name is Rosa Hernandez, and I come from the city of Fireball in Fresno County, and here because we need water.
Porque lamentablemente tenemos una familia que mantener
And we
y
need
no
to
tenemos suficiente trabajo.
provide for my family and don't have enough work.
Lamentablemente porque no hay trabajo en el field por falta del agua.
Lack of work because of lack of water.
Mi niña ahorita está sin clases porque ocupaba ir al colegio, a la universidad, y no pudimos pagarle. Nos cobraban $5,000 por semestre y pagarle libros, pagarle renta.
Her daughter was not able to attend the last semester in college because couldn't afford the semester, $5,000 in rent and books, so on and so forth. So.
Y lamentablemente, pues, mi esposo sí ha tenido trabajo, pero le bajaron muchas horas. Y yo cada año, el año pasado le pagamos todo el colegio, sí tuvimos para pagarle, pero este año no pudimos porque es más lo que nos cobraron.
Yeah.
Y lamentablemente yo no estoy trabajando, y lo de él, pues como le bajaron horas, no le sale lo que tenemos que pagar.
Yes, and she says that her husband's hours were reduced such that last year what they were able to accommodate her daughter going to college, it just was not possible with the reduction in hours due to lack of work.
Y tenemos más biles que pagar, y pues a veces queremos pagarle su colegio, pero pues tenemos que pagar renta, tenemos que pagar luz, tenemos que pagar comida para los hijos, porque nos dan comida, pero lamentablemente la comida que nos dan no sirve, porque nos dan latas que vencidas, que no sirven, pan vencido, y no porque tenemos hambre, ¿verdad? No lo vamos a comer, para que nuestros hijos se enfermen, más aparte de las enfermedades que hay desarrolladas, pues lamentablemente tenemos miedo darles esas latas, que todo está vencido.
Besides being out of work, they have to provide to pay rent, pay bills, pay food, that the food being received at the food giveaways are cans and not, says it's not good food, a lot of it's out of date, and that the kids also, they get sick, they need to see doctors, so everything costs money and they just don't have it.
Hacemos mucha línea, llegamos temprano a las 4 o 5 de la mañana y salimos a las 12, 11 del día y lamentablemente a veces se acaba la comida, no alcanzamos nada y pues a veces sí digo, pues ¿para qué la quería dar si todavía no se acaba la del mes pasado que no sirvió? Pero y si no, a ver, se cambian, dan algo mejor, pero lamentablemente dan puro lo mismo.
They, she says they line up in the food lines early morning hours, and it's the better part of the day. Sometimes the food runs out, and then when the next food giveaway comes up, they're hoping that it's something different rather than just cans and out-of-date food. But more often than not, it's the same thing. But they're hopeful that it's something that they could use. They have to line up. They need the food.
Bueno, a veces que tenemos necesidad, pues sí nos comemos lo que nos dan por la necesidad, ¿verdad? Porque todo está carísimo, subieron la leche, subieron el huevo, subieron la tortilla, todo carísimo y lamentablemente con lo que gana mi esposo, tomamos pagar renta porque gana $300 por semana, ahorita. ¿Qué vamos a hacer con $300?
My husband makes $300 a week. They have to pay rent with that money, so they're dependent on the food giveaways, and you know, like it or not, they have to eat that food, but it's hard.
Y pues nosotros no podemos agarrar pues estampillas, no podemos agarrar ayuda de nada y pues nada más nuestro puro, como luego dicen al mexicano, el puro lomo. Y si guardamos, tenemos, si no guardamos, ¿qué vamos a hacer? ¿De dónde vamos a agarrar?
Yeah.
Lamentablemente no nos alcanza y pues sí estamos muy necesitados del agua porque yo entraba a trabajar en febrero, en enero, ahorita no he trabajado desde el año pasado y desde como en septiembre, en los primeros de septiembre paré. Ahorita, ¿qué hacemos?
She said she hasn't worked since September, and in most cases they'd be working in January, February. They're not getting any government assistance. They're not able to, and just tough being, she said, Mexican, Hispanic.
Y a veces buscamos ayuda para que nos ayuden para la luz, para la renta. Lamentablemente no calificamos supuestamente porque ganamos mucho, pero cuentan nada más lo que ganamos, no cuentan lo que gastamos, que se les hace mucho lo que ganamos, pero no cuentan los gastos que tenemos. Y todo tenemos que comprar, todo. Tenemos que pagar la luz, la renta, porque si no, nos sacan de la renta. Y si salimos a ver un mes o 2 meses atrasados, nos cobran intereses, la luz nos la cortan y todo eso.
Yeah.
Lamentablemente estamos muy necesitados del agua, que haya más trabajo. Lamentablemente en el field, porque nosotros nos mantenemos del puro field, no hay trabajo en tiendas, no hay trabajo en nada, en otra cosa que podamos trabajar.
She says that they're dependent solely on agriculture, working in the fields. They can't work in a store or other types. You know, like I said, our communities are 99.9% ag-related. That's what she works in. It's tough. They need to make money. They don't qualify for renter's assistance or assistance at a HEAP. Well, that's with PG&E, because that they don't qualify. The numbers aren't good. Says they don't take into account what they have to pay with what little money they get. We need the water, need help.
Y pues mi niña ahorita está decepcionada porque la verdad ella es muy buena para los estudios, saca buenas calificaciones y ahorita está detenida porque no tiene trabajo. Ella trabaja con el policía, pero puro como comunitario, porque no le pagaban. Y ha tratado de acomodarse en trabajo, pero le pagan bien poquito. Trabajaba en el Subway y le pagaban $300 por quincena. ¿Y allí qué pagaba? Nada.
That her daughter, the one that's not able to go to school, college right now, is she's having a hard time. She works at Subway part-time, makes $300 every 15 days, and part-time also for the Fireball Police Department, but pay is very low.
Y pues sí pidemos el agua de favor porque, pues le digo, dependemos del field y no hay, en ese valle no hay trabajo más. Y las tiendas que dan carísimo. Nos tenemos que ir a Fresno a los baños porque lo poquito que tenemos, vamos a llegar a las tiendas que están chiquitas de un galón de leche, poquita carne o tortillas o huevo, ya se nos van 100, $150 y lamentablemente es la mitad del cheque que agarra mi esposo por semana. Y a veces no nos completa para la semana, nada.
Yep, that food for her family, the basic necessities, meat and dairy, and that it's $150, $200, and that they're barely scraping by. That they need the help.
Y a mí me duele mucho mi hija, que ella ahorita está con ganas de seguir adelante porque ella quiere estudiar en la academia, en la universidad, y no tiene ninguna ayuda. No le ayudan supuestamente porque ganamos mucho, pero dicen que ganamos como 25 o 26 o 20 al año, pero para sus estudios no es mucho más los hijos que tenemos, los biles.
That again, her daughter, she's reiterating that I guess she's the shining star in the family, and she wants to get back, but it's just hard. It's financially not feasible. She's not also doesn't qualify for any type of assistance.
Ok, pues, ya. Ok, gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Followed by Jennifer Buckman. That's if needed. Jennifer, do you mind waiting till the Friant time? Where are you?
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Mario Reséndiz y vengo de Mendota, California. Yo trabajo para la compañía del bosque y este patrón creo que este año va a dejar algunos acres sin sembrar, ¿verdad? Que es melón y es sandía. Y pues todos los que estamos aquí dependemos del fil, ¿verdad? De la agricultura y nuestras familias también dependen de ahí. Y
He comes from Mendota, California, works for Mr. Joel Del Bosque, and he thinks that they're going to probably lay off some people this summer.
Pienso que nuestras familias tienen que tener una educación, ¿verdad? Para que tengan una escuela y tengan unos mejores trabajos, porque la mayoría que estamos aquí, pues trabajamos en el campo, pero las personas que estamos aquí queremos sacar a nuestras familias hacia adelante. Y por falta del agua, pensamos que no vamos a poder. Y pues les pidamos a ustedes de favor que si pueden hacer algo por nosotros, por todos los que estamos aquí, por todo el Valle de San Joaquín, sobre respecto al agua, hagan algo para que nuestras familias y otras familias saquen el provecho del agua para seguir trabajando y seguir adelante con nuestras familias y con nuestras casas, que si no hay suficiente agua, quizás las vamos a perder.
The majority of us here, like himself, like myself, are here because we work in agriculture, but we want our children to have a better life, a good education, and to do something other than agriculture. And it's not possible, it's not an option without ourselves being able to work without the water. We need help. The San Joaquin Valley needs help, needs water.
Y esta mañana llegamos aquí a Sacramento con la esperanza de que nos puedan ayudar, con la esperanza de que puedan hacer algo para seguir adelante cada año. Con respecto al agua, necesitamos el agua, cada familia, cada ranchero, cada contratista, que de allí es donde vivimos, del tomate, sandías, melones, cebolla, ajo, brócoli, coliflor, elotes. El Valle de San Joaquín es un valle grande, pero sin agua se pierden muchas cosechas para las personas.
He says that many different commodities are dependent on the water. Like you heard, you probably understood. He mentioned everything that I had mentioned earlier, the watermelons and cauliflower and everything in between. And that contractors, ranchers, families are dependent on water, the families who work in these farms. And without it, the San Joaquin Valley is huge and big and immense, but without water, it's really nothing.
Muchísimas gracias y muchas gracias por su atención. Gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Jennifer, I saw you come back in. Can I hold this for when we do the? Okay. Okay, great. And I apologize for folks. I've been trying to alternate a bit with the folks on the bus and folks who got here first. At some point, we absolutely have to take a break for lunch. There were people who are anticipating to be starting now, 2 sets of players. We have the Friant panel, which needed to be done by 1:30. We have the growers panel. I'm looking towards you, Barry and Joel. Can you go at 1:30? Do you guys mind waiting? I mean, I would like everybody to hear your presentation, but I'm mindful of juggling. Other people wanted to go later. Does that work okay? But we still are going to have to somehow take a quick break for figuring it out. It may be 15 minutes at some point, so we're doing the best we can. Lucille Dimitrov. Okay. Juvenal Montemayor. Is that? No, he reused. There we go. Followed by Lowell Ashbaugh from the Northern California Council of International Federation of Fly Fishers. No? Okay, I'll hold him. So, Mr. Ashbaugh, followed by Sean Gavet, I think it says.